Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, Threegun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. The Reticle Up podcast is produced in partnership with AmericanFirearms.org. American Firearms' mission is to recommend what works. We believe everyone deserves access to unbiased, helpful information about firearms, and our buying guides, product reviews, and learning resources are designed to help real people find the stuff that will work best for them. Check us out at www.americanfirearms.org. Welcome back, everyone, to the Reticle Up podcast. Okay, I'm super excited about this episode. I know I say that a lot, but this one's a big deal for me. I met Payton Grimes here. She's a pro PRS shooter at the Best in Texas PRS match, which was my first PRS match. I don't know a lot about you, so I'm really excited to have you on. And meeting a female who has accomplished so much in the industry and just an incredible shooter is an honor. So thank you, Payton, for coming on here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on here.
I'm very excited. So, honestly, I didn't want to talk about Best in Texas as much because it was so hard. But you know what? Let's talk about that. So for you, that match, I know the season kind of for you probably kicked off sooner. So what match was that for you this year?
I think that was my fourth, I want to say.
Okay.
I shot that same match in January, and I shot Kansas. It might have been third or fourth, somewhere around there.
Okay.
It was a tough one.
It was tough. I was going to say, were you expecting the wins to be like that?
Honestly, no. I mean, I think we expected it coming into it, but I honestly didn't expect it to be like that compared to the last match we had there.
Yeah. So that range, for people that don't know, it's like the CCC shooting complex, and it's all open terrain. So there's not like berms on 90% of these targets. So really, you gotta see your trace or know that, okay, you held too far, whatever for wind. So for you kind of have a lot of experience with that range, right?
Yeah, I have a few years experience there.
How do you learn to see all of that and kind of correct yourself when you pull the shots?
I mean, it's really just getting used to it. A lot of shots downrange, it's really where you're gonna see it more. It's hard starting off because you're like, I have absolutely no clue, and and especially like with recoil, I think that's a lot of people's issue is they have bad recoil, so then they can't see where they're hitting, and that's always tough. But I think just more shooting downrange and you trying to watch where you're hitting is really helpful. And a lot of watching on glass too, and trying to figure out like how to see stuff off the target and everything.
Yeah, so I was learning a lot about, seeing the target move left to right. Okay, that's not a center impact, or seeing, I guess, splash of the water. And that was still difficult for me. Seeing splash of the water is like, I don't know if it's high, low, left, right.
Oh no, the water's like the worst. I did that a lot. This past match I shot, it wasn't water, but it was on like a elevated post. So I was shooting low and I looked like I was just off left. And I was like, what happened? And I wasted a whole stage because I was low. Yeah.
Cool.
It's tough.
How do you, a lot of that wind stuff you can do as much as you can with Kestrel and your data and understanding all of that. But is it discouraging still to like come out with a point or two on a stage or even zeroing a stage now? Or is that just kind of the name of the PRS game is dealing with those elements?
I mean, dealing with the elements, that's definitely like a thing that it's like everyone has to deal with it. But it does still hurt me a little bit because I came out with the 2 on that stage that I was talking about. And it's like, the only thing is you can't let it ruin your whole match. Like if you have a bad stage, you just kind of have to pick yourself back up and fix it on the next one. But it's still, it's just humbling, I would say. Cause it's like, you're shooting a match well, you're cleaning all these stages and then you bomb one. And it's like, well, that sucks. And some people think they'll like lose all their confidence and just like, okay, well, I have no chance now. But the thing is, you can't look at it that way. Like you have to just keep pushing through and dig deep.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people like listening that kind of don't know what we're talking about, with two-day match, we had up to like, I think 30 or 40 mile per hour gusts on Saturday. That was right.
It was a lot.
Yeah, because we had that storm roll through. So for you, how did you look at day one and then readjust yourself to get back on track with day 2? Because we had a lot better wins on Sunday. Yeah. But how do you deal with that mental side of things?
I mean, I kind of just looked at it like essentially people were saying I shot the harder side on day one. So then going into day two, I was like, well, today should be less winds and I should hit more than I hit yesterday. So like if I do that, it's a win. And just kind of having it in my mind that you're gonna do better today than you did yesterday, which is what you should always have. Really, it shouldn't have the negative impact, but yeah, just kind of preparing myself for hopefully better than the day before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you and I talked at the end of the match, because a lot of people are asking my pro Ryan, hey, or me, like, how was your first day? And I'm like, please don't ask me like how it went, because you said the word correctly, humbling.
Oh yeah.
I knew it would be a train wreck, but it was very discouraging for me to. I've been behind guns, like and so for me, I'm like, it was the worst shooting I've ever done in my life.
Exactly.
But you reminded me. You're like, I remember my first PRS major, which I want to talk about, but that was. I hated taking my own advice because when I hear people talk about how bad they did or whatever on their first match ever, I'm like, you showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah. I was looking at you. I was like, I know this is not you. I mean, I don't even know you, and I'm like, I know she has a better attitude than this.
I'm just like, it was.
She just doesn't want to listen to herself.
No. At that moment, I was like, no, it was like absolutely embarrassing to see how bad it was. Day two was completely different, but reminding myself like. You can't go into a major match thinking, especially when you've never shot before, like, this will be fine. You're going to do great.
No. I mean, you think you're going to do great, but you can't just let it get to you when you don't end up doing great. That's the thing.
Yeah. So tell me about your very first PRS match. When did you start? What year was it? And how did that go for you?
Okay. My first PRS match was June of 2020. I just came from like 2 years of the Gunworks hunting training class, and that's like the first time that I shot a rifle was in that class with Philip Vallejo, and so we ended up building a relationship with him, and so like after 2 or 3 years of shooting, I'd say just like shooting prone and everything, he wanted to bring me into competition, and I was like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, let's just say that. So he took me to my first match, which was Dog Valley, which is an insane first match, which is like, it was like 80% positional. I'd never done positional ever, and so that was an interesting experience. So I was just trying to get through that day or that whole match with hail, rain, wind. It was all of the elements, and then trying to figure out on the clock what to do with my body and how to move, and it was a train wreck, but it was fun and it got me hooked. So
awesome. Now, tell me, were you borrowing a rifle?
No, we actually used my like rifle that I'd been shooting for like hunting. I think we used a 6.5 Creedmoor. That was my first rifle build, and it was a Gunworks, and we used that for almost my whole first year of competition, which was 2020.
Awesome. So you had a little bit more time at least behind that gun.
Yeah, I had a little bit. I mean, I don't remember if we built it just for competition, or I think we've been shooting it before. Yeah. I'm not sure, but
no, that's cool. Looking back now, did you think you were going to go this far in the PRS world?
Absolutely not. I was looking at these people. I'm like, I have no clue who anyone is here. I don't know what's going on, because like I'd barely done anything. I'd gone on a few hunts and just shot a little bit here and there, but it wasn't anything like I thought I'd be doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after a year kind of getting your feet wet and shooting that one gun, when did you start like building a dedicated PRS rifle with like the components you wanted and putting something together that you really wanted to shoot?
I'm pretty sure we ended up building my twin 6BR rifles the fall of 2020. I'm pretty sure. It might have been the year after. I'm pretty sure I started shooting my like whole second year with the BRs.
Cool.
And so that's when we started putting everything on it we wanted and did the whole paint jobs. And yeah, it was a USA on one side and Texas on the other side, like rustic kind of look. And
cool.
Yeah, we did like siblings, like they were like opposite of each other. So we did that and started shooting that. I'm pretty sure my second year of shooting. So
when you say we, are you talking about family?
Family. Yeah, me and my dad do a lot of this together. He's what keeps everything running. So he's the wheels.
That's amazing. Because I know I met your mom. I know your dad was kind of like a couple feet away, but I think it's incredible. Like, you get into shooting and it's a family effort. So you all three went to Best in Texas.
Yeah. What
happens when you go by yourself, or have you gotten by yourself?
I've gone to a regional match sort of by myself. I went with one of my friends I shoot with, but it's just harder to carry everything. Let's just say that. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Dad.
Sometimes he grabs the tripod and moves it to the next stage. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just grab my bag then.
Yeah.
But I mean, my mom's kind of there for support and takes pictures and everything. So if they weren't there, it'd be kind of like weird. I mean, it wouldn't be because I know a lot of people and like I cut up with them and they'll have my back, but it'd be kind of awkward if they weren't there doing everything,
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, that's where I see families get in that groove. And then like I use junior shooters as an example a lot. It's like they finally go out on their own and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so different. And it's like, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to go out and shoot, period. But like, even like when I go by myself, it is night and day different without having a support system around you.
Yeah, and like having someone to spot and everything, and having someone that you can trust and ask where you're hitting, and they'll tell you exactly where you shot the target and everything like that.
So I thought, like, okay, as an amateur, I know I was able to be coached, but I don't know why, but like I figured PRS would just be so different. Where, for example, it didn't matter if there was pros or amateurs or just any kind of shooter out there. Everyone was giving each other like, oh, what'd you hold for that win? Or what kind of win reading are you getting? What do you think the 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever it is? Everybody there was so helpful because we all have to kind of have a team as a squad, I would say, and figure out what is going on right now in the elements.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Payton.
It is. It's really amazing. Like, I didn't expect that because some matches, like, you'll get a squad every once in a while where no one says anything, and it's like, it's awkward because it's like you don't want to ask anyone because then you feel like you're like prying their win call and they don't want to give it to you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I'm just trying to learn, and like we're all here for the same reasons. And I mean, you'll get some like bigger like AG matches and everything that it is more like that because there's more on the line. Like especially like the finales, like it's almost a lot of people are just shut mouth because they want to win, I mean, but it's nice for those regional matches and some of those 2-day matches to just have a squad where you can talk to and ask anyone for help and they'll be glad to do it.
Yeah. I mean, even, so fun. I got to shoot what is it called with like the side barricade with the center block, but you had to use tripod. Well, we used tripods on the angles. That was in Texas. It was on the ridge, but I had to learn on the clock.
Oh no, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, the wood thing,
the slant. Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, the slants. I don't remember what that thing's called.
It was cool though because I'm a 3-gunner for sure at heart, and so like have everybody. Let's throw in tripods, let's throw in bags, let's all like, what do you need? And it was nice to have like a squad of gear because I'm like, I don't carry around 2 tripods. Like I don't know what I would do.
Exactly.
Oh, that was hard.
I bet.
Not in the bus.
Like, you have nothing to like hold all your stuff, and like you got a tripod, you got a gun, and then you got like you can't carry it all yourself. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I did. I just looked like I was really going hiking.
Yeah.
So much heavier. So for you, okay, what do you run right now? I know, like, for newbies, especially people starting out, I would love to know like what your gun build is right now, and then maybe like some ideas of like cartridges that people should start out with or maybe look at that's a little bit easier.
Okay. I run a Collis with the KRG C4. I'm gonna go way out of order here, but Vixen anti-trigger. I shoot Alpha Brass with I get my paint jobs by Redbeard. They're amazing. Like
they pair of Ryan's guns and they run like butter.
Yeah, I mean every paint job I've gotten from them is amazing. Like, and then S&S Precision flatline ops for my levels, impact action, we bad bags. They're awesome as well. Like they support a lot of people in the sport, and they support a lot of matches in the sport, and it's really awesome.
Yeah.
I run a spur mount, and then I run an ace brake. I'm pretty sure I got everything.
What caliber are you shooting?
I'm shooting a 6-dasher now. I started off with a 6BR when we started reloading, but we just switched over to a 6-dasher. I mean, I'm not very qualified to say what calibers would be good to start out with because I kind of just got thrown into it. And my dad does like a lot of the loading stuff. Like I help, but like he does all the powder charges. I don't get to touch that. So anything like that's kind of out of my realm, I'd say. But I mean, I'm pretty sure Allison Zane, she shot, I think she still shoots a 6 Creedmoor. I think that's a pretty popular caliber, but it really just depends on if you want to shoot loaded ammo or a factory ammo or load your own ammo, which I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I pay for components, but Ryan's loading mine for now because it's his gun. He can do them in bulk, and we're running the same like cartridge. But it is something where that stuff terrifies me of reloading, and I'm not interested in it, so it makes it like a job.
Oh, trust me, I know. I'm the same way. And my dad's like, "Come on, we got to do this," and I'm like, "Do we have to?" But I mean, I help as much as I can. Yeah. He just does all the powder.
Yeah,
I'll see bullets, but not saying I'm gonna enjoy it. But
yeah, that's a whole different game. But I do know, like with all of the data that is out there, I have seen where loading your own ammo is just better than factory ammo. Unfortunately, that's the case with SD and everything else that's out there.
Because there's a lot of good like factory ammo that shoots good, but it's just not the same as loading your own ammo and tailoring it to exactly what you want.
Yeah. So what do you know what velocities that you're running out of your rifle?
I want to say around 2780. It's kind of because we bounce so much and we're like breaking in barrels and everything, so it's kind of all over the place, but I think around 2780, 2800, somewhere around there.
Perfect. Okay, now I have another newbie-ish question because I learned a lot. This was like floodgates. So I got the little mini fortune cookie from Weebad, and I got to use it for an event I had, but I also tried it there at the match. So I want you to tell me kind of what are some of the good support bags to look at, and why are they good for like positional, prone, that kind of stuff.
Okay. I think I shoot the same bag as you, the mini fortune cookie. That's my favorite bag. It's almost the only bag I run. I've tried a lot. I've tried the bigger ones, but they're too heavy. I mean, they are very stable, but I can't move fast and carry a huge bag in one hand. So that mini fortune cookie's been my ride or die, and that's the only thing I'll use positional most of the time. And then I haven't really found a rear bag that I love, just because I need so many different, like I need like versatility, but also like the right way. I'm just trying to figure that out still. But Weebad has made me a few that are pretty good contenders with like just playing with different fills and stuff. But the mini fortune cookie is definitely the bag to run because it's very versatile going over, because it can go over, can go side, you can do basically whatever you want with it, and it still gives you that support, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. Now, have you found like what bipod works for you as well?
I use the Harris bipod. The only issue with it is that I can't get enough height most of the time. So if I need a lot of height, I go to the double pull SkyPod.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really use the double pull on it, but it is a double pull. But some of those stages where it's like those tall prone stages, I kind of have to switch to the SkyPod to get enough height. But I like the Harris because you can just hit it up, and it's those springs, so it can just come in and out whenever you want it to, and that's helpful on a lot of those stages where you go from prone to positional and stuff like that. So
yeah, now that's the gear stuff.
Yeah.
Do what? Sorry, I interrupted.
I was just saying. Oh, that's my bad. I'm just saying it's a stable, like it's a nice bipod. Like
yeah. I learned Ryan and I have very different body types, obviously. So every single time I'd ask him what to use, I would use the wrong thing. And so we would figure that one out. So the match was like, I'm never giving you a suggestion ever again.
You need someone your size.
Yeah. That's what I learned is like, I mean, I should have known just from shooting in general, but, find the right bag. Unfortunately, it's going to take time, like for anyone listening, for you to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
Because even the bipod, actually, what was interesting with me, because they weren't the spread legs one. I don't remember which one he uses, but I couldn't bottom out enough. It was all too tall.
Oh, all too tall. Okay.
Yeah.
That also could be, what bag were you using for rear? The fortune cookie?
Pretty much but I had to use Ryan's medium fortune cookie. I don't know which one that one's called because I couldn't get enough height in the rear. I needed an even bigger bag. It just depends on the stage, but
that small bag's hard to use rear. I don't do that unless I have too much bipod. I'll use that as a last resort.
Yeah. So for me, I'm still learning. That's number one. That's gonna take me probably a few matches to figure out.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, for people that don't know, I want to talk about this. So you went to the World Championship and you won I'm assuming ladies title in a division?
Ladies title, yes, and 16th overall.
Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel. Out of how many competitors?
I think 200, 250, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly, but somewhere around 200.
That's incredible.
It was crazy.
So how old were you when you won that?
17.
Oh my God.
I just turned 18, so.
Congrats. Okay. And then when you won that, I mean, how many years did you know you were going to that shoot to prepare? Or how long did you know?
I'm pretty sure it was a few months, Mother? My mom's here. We were kind of just bombarded with all the information because it was so new. I'm pretty sure it was a few months. It was quick. There was a few months before to prepare for that. So not that long. Incredible.
So like, where was the competition held?
It was held in France, obviously. No, it's called, it's spelled, okay, I think you say it beach.
Okay.
I don't know. It's spelled Bitche.
Okay.
So can take that however you want. But yeah, it was held in Beach, France.
Cool. Okay. Did you take two guns with you?
No, we took one.
What happens if something goes wrong?
We were just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, I think a few people brought an extra, like, different components and everything just in case, but it was already hard enough getting one gun. We were not about to try to bring two and then lose one or something happen. Yep. We brought an extra scope, but yeah, so.
Yeah, because I know a lot of friends that have gone to world shoots, travel internationally. They always have a backup gun. Of course, we're not talking about a 50-pound, not really 50, but a very heavy rifle. Then you have two of them, and they're very expensive. But for you, like that's a lot of travel to get there to prep. So for you, did you get to the match early, like a couple of days to acclimate? Zero in your gun, all that stuff.
Yeah, they have this schedule where like it's like a whole like week. Like the match only is like 4 days. Mm-hmm. And they give you like extra days like before and after, and it's like their whole schedule. They have like check-in on a whole day, and then like the next day there's like time slots for each country to zero. Oh. And then like after that the match started and all of that. So it was very like USA, this is your time slot. So that was how we did that.
So how many people went, and were you on a team as well?
Yeah, it was Team USA, so we competed as a team as well.
Okay.
I don't remember how many people there were. I think we took like 3 for each like side category, which was only like 9 or 10, and then there was like 6 open. So I think it was like 15 to 20 competitors that we brought.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. No, this is just I'm trying to get the lay of the land of like how many people represent USA. So for you now, you made the slot. So going back, how did you mentally prepare for a world title contention, and then how did you physically start preparing for that?
Mentally, I kind of just looked at it as I tried to look at it as just another match, because we had no idea what to expect. Like, we honestly expected the worst. And so we were trying to kind of just preparing ourselves like, okay, well, this is going to be like totally different than what we're expecting. So, or than what we normally shoot. So like kind of just take everything with a grain of salt. And I went into it just knowing that I was probably going to drop shots. So I was like, I'm just not going to worry about my score. I mean, I just looked at it with like, it's not going to matter the outcome. I was competing as a team either way. So I was like, as long as I don't like totally lose my head, like I'll be okay. And then physically for training, we had seen some matchbooks from their prior like finale they had there, and we were looking at the props and we were like jaw dropped at the amount of unstable props they were shooting off of, and like just like out of the ordinary things. And so I went in my garage and I just found some random props that were the most unstable I could find.
Oh.
And I just dry fired off of those in my garage. I have the indoor dry fire training system. Like it's like a sheet where it has like a rows of targets that you can use. And so I used that and just found some random props. Like I shot off of like like those things you have by your fireplace with like the hooks that have all like the shovel. Yeah, I tried to shoot off one of those, and like a heater, like the row. It was
yeah.
I was trying to just find the most unstable things I could and try to shoot off of them. And I think that helped a lot, honestly, because when we got there, they ended up actually having stable props, so it was okay. Nice. But in the moment, it was like, I know now that I can shoot off of these unstable props. So now that we get there, I don't have anything to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. So you over prepared with some of like the harder stuff, which is great because, like you said, it just makes everything else easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that was dry fire, a lot of dry fire. Now, did you change anything in live fire training or do more of that?
I don't really get to do a lot of live fire training because the closest range I have is like 30 minutes away. So we don't travel up there unless we're doing like low development or just checking a zero or something like that. And it's just prone as well. So any training I get, I have to just go out to distance or whatnot. Most of my live fire training is just shooting regional matches. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Let's go talk about like with making the team. Was there like a qualification series? Like how does someone even get to compete on Team USA in the PRS world?
Okay, so there wasn't one prior to us going to France, but we have made one now to go like moving forward.
Okay.
Because the next one is next year in South Africa.
Cool.
Yeah, but there wasn't a qualification this year, I don't think. I think you submitted a few, like your highest scores, because they had a weird scoring system. So you submitted like your highest finale scores or they actually no, I lied. They had a list of matches that you could choose from, and you put in your highest ones from all those. Okay. And I hadn't shot any of the matches that were on the list, so I ended up having to put like the rimfire finale.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had none of the scores that they had.
Sure.
And that helps that we have an actual scoring system for going forward. Because it was weird, and I was like not very confident that I would make the team, but the ladies, I think we only ended up having 3, so we didn't technically make the team because there was only 3 of us, I'm pretty sure. But which sucks. We didn't have a full team. It would have been awesome if we would have had another lady to take, but that didn't work out. Yeah. But the open team was, I'm pretty sure that was competitive. So
yeah, heck yeah. Okay, cool. So so now you say there is a qualification process though. You're saying they put out like a list of matches that they want you to go compete, and then you submit your scores for those?
It's a little different. We were on a committee to kind of decide how we were gonna like do the qualification, like application process. And it's not the same where it's you have a list of matches and you submit this match, this match, this match. I think we did it more of like a scores and like placement throughout like matches throughout the US. Yeah. And I couldn't tell you exactly what the qualifications are, but I'm pretty sure they're posted up on the USPRA, I want to say.
Okay.
For next year. But yeah, it's a lot more organized and going to be a lot more competitive. So
for sure. Are you trying then to make the team?
I'm trying. I haven't had many great matches this start of this year, but I'm trying my best.
No, you'll be great, especially if you're putting in the time and effort to keep going. You know that there is a level of dedication. I'll say this too, even if you're not doing the best you want to at matches, is showing up to a lot of major matches and working.
Still going.
Yeah, like that. that pays dividends as well. Cause I think there is some experience with, like, again, cause I'm in other sports as well, where I see like people crumble at majors. It's the mental game that they kind of,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it's like,
that's a big part
yes, the more major matches that you can get behind your belt, the better off you'll be.
for sure. Yeah.
That's interesting. What's like the craziest prop that you've ever shot off of?
Oh, that's hard. Okay. Craziest would be at the World Championship. We shot off of a tank.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
That was my first day of school of senior year that I missed. I was there shooting off of a tank for my first stage of that day. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. Like, I'd missed a day of school for this. So that's probably the craziest one.
Okay.
I don't really know of any like insane, like janky prop other than like chains and stuff, but that's the coolest one I've ever shot off.
That's awesome, especially when you're out of country doing that.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was on a whole military base. Like, it's like a running tank. They drove it in there. We watched them park it. It was insane.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so for you, like, I know people have different shooting styles, or they have better strengths or weaknesses when it comes to their shooting.
Yeah.
I guess 2 questions then, both sides. What's your biggest strength when it comes to shooting PRS, and what's your biggest weakness that you're working on to get better at?
Okay, my biggest weakness is definitely my brain. No, my mental state. Even though I was saying that you shouldn't get down on yourself after a bad stage, I kind of tend to do that, and I kind of beat myself up over things that I shouldn't beat myself up over, and that's one of my negatives about myself. I would say my greatest strength. One example of like kind of a greatest strength is at the finale or at the World Championship, I rarely used my Kestrel.
What?
Yeah. Well, for wind, sorry.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah. So I mostly just looked at the terrain that match and kind of just went with a wind call that I felt like was going to be good, and most of them were good. And that has kind of boosted my confidence. So I obviously use my Kestrel a lot, but I kind of more use it as like a backup rather than saying, oh, I'm going to listen to this exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that is one thing I would say. That was a really eye-opener to me. It was like, I barely used my Kestrel all for this whole match. And I was like, that's kind of crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's like, you're Pocahontas.
Right.
Incredible. So I mean, for people that are not that skilled, how did you obviously had a lot of experience and time with your dad, but did you take any formal education from anyone, or like who do you learn from as like a mentor in the industry around, especially like wind reading stuff?
Yeah. Okay. A lot of that came from Modern Day Sniper. So Phil and Kaylin at Modern Day Sniper, they actually support me, but I have done their class, and Phil was the first trainer I ever had, and he still mentors me. But he's taught me a lot. I know about wind and reading the wind and everything like that. And it's been like awesome learning from them. They have great stuff. Like especially new shooters, they have a lot of like, I think they have a program you can get into, and it's awesome. Like I went through it all not too long ago, and just all the stuff they have posted and all the help videos, and it's really great. And I also I took a class from JTAC, which is I don't know if you know who JTAC is. Justin Watts, Tate Streeter, Austin Orgain, and Clay Blackadder. They're the Okie boys, and I took one of their classes and learned a lot from there too.
Awesome. Are they? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
you kind of got what?
You're good.
Oh, I'm gonna let you go. You kind of got
what?
what?
Okay. I forgot what I was gonna say. It's okay.
Oh, with JTAC, I was gonna say the Okie boys. Are they the ones putting down the Okie like summer showdown thing in August?
That's Justin Watts.
Okay.
Or Okie Summer Showdown. That one. Yeah, that's the one that. Oh, in August. Oh, August. The Silent Night one.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's Justin Watts.
Okay, I'm going to that match. So
that's awesome. Silent Night.
Yes.
I'm going to that one as well.
It's literally going to be on my 31st birthday. So
wow, that's awesome. Stay up all night. That's great.
I don't know how I get roped into these really fun things, but awesome. That's so cool. So you've taken formal classes. Do you read any? I don't know your industry or world, but like, are there, I guess, sniper type books or anything out there resource wise that people can read?
I don't read much, but I haven't really gotten into much like shooting literature. I did read With Winning in Mind, though.
Yes.
And I've read that twice, and that has been a really good resource that I've used and tried to just build my mindset off of that. And like one thing in that book, it's like some people, it was saying to not say don't suck, because then you're going to suck. And so people still are like, don't suck. And I'm like, don't say that, because then I'm gonna suck. I'm like, that's in the book. Don't say that. So stuff like that has had a really big impact on me.
Oh yeah, words matter, especially what you tell yourself, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that book has transpired different shooting sports too, which is what I really love. Which I know this is like switching gears completely, but you kept saying it earlier, and I kept meaning to ask. So you shoot, I'm assuming, like the 22 matches. Is it PRS 22? Yeah. Is it NRL 22?
Yeah, PRS Rimfire 22.
Okay. How does that? Okay, because like I have that gun. I shot a match. It was so fun. That kind of started the addiction. How do those matches, if someone's looking to get into like center fire, how do those matches really help you kind of progress as a shooter and still learn the fundamentals that you need to go play, center fire PRS?
Yeah. The Rimfire is a really good stepping stone. I almost wish that I started out Rimfire, because it's just a lot more fun, a lot more easygoing. You don't have as much pressure, and you don't have to wear ears, which is great. No, but you learn a lot of the fundamentals and positionals, which lighter rifle, and it's easier to maneuver, no recoil, so you're able to mostly watch your shots. Kind of hard when you're zoomed in so far, but I think the Rimfire is a really good building block for building up to center fire with everything.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how, again, it goes back to like body shape, size, height, all of those things is like what works for you is not going to work for someone else, and vice versa, just because we're all so different. So like learning what ladder rung with my height was something that was like eye-opening.
Oh yeah.
Sounds silly, but that was part of that. And then like getting low or like for you, let me ask you this, like when you're on a tire, how often are you just using a bag on a tire versus do you ever use your bipod off of a tire? Like, do you
use both? Yeah, it just depends on the stage. Like, there was that tire stage at Navasota that I ended up using a bipod on like 3 of them, and then bagged the other 2 because like I couldn't fit a bipod or something like that.
Yeah,
but it really just depends. A lot of the time, people will be like, "I'm confident with my bag, so I'll shoot my bag." I've done that, and it's bitten me, and it's worked for me. So I just kind of have to look at the stage and be like, "What's going to be the most stable position?" and go with.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the stuff that, again, knowing you or just having time behind the gun in matches, or even dry fire. Like how often do you actually dry fire right now?
Right now, almost nothing, because it's the end of my senior year. Today was actually my last full day of school, so that's kind of sad, but also exciting. But these past few weeks, I've almost had no time. So, but I mean, preparing for Italy, I for sure will dry fire in the latter part, and I need to be shooting because I need to be preparing for K&M the end of this month. So
wait, I will be there too. Okay, yeah,
awesome. There you go. See, next week I really need to get dry fire in. Yeah, there you go. And that's an awesome match as well. Like that's the prettiest range I've ever been to.
So I keep hearing, and it's only like 4 hours from my house. So
wow. What are we, like 9 something? Yeah.
Far. Texas took me 20 hours. I left that range at 4 o'clock on Sunday, and I got home Monday at like 9, 10. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I don't know if we've ever been to a match that far away, maybe. Other than on plane.
Yeah. I prefer flying.
Definitely.
Okay, I wanted to ask you this question. This will probably be controversial a little bit, but do you prefer shooting a suppressor or a muzzle brake on your guns?
I've always shot a muzzle brake.
Okay.
Suppressor, it's just it's just a lot different recoil. So I wouldn't say like I prefer shooting a break. I mean, I do, but the the suppressor is just like a more of like it's just different recoil, and it just takes some getting used to. I like it because you don't have to wear ears. That I liked that in Kansas where everyone was suppressed, so you didn't have to wear ears or anything.
Awesome.
But I mean, I always have just shot a break. I just feel confident and more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I totally understand. I just know different people, or some people are like, no suppressors, it's too dirty, or changes the point of impact or whatever on accuracy levels. And I guess, I mean, it definitely depends on what suppressor as well, because that can be a factor. But I was curious if that was just something that you chose, or I mean, like, and I like the suppressor because of the recoil.
Yeah. Is it mostly what you shot?
Never. Zero. I picked up my first suppressor. Yeah, I picked up my first suppressor literally like 4 days ago. So finally, yes.
Nice.
But it's like, now that I've shot it, I'm like, how do you go back?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I've just shot so much with a muzzle brake that it's just like, it's like second nature. So second anything changes, it's weird. Like the other day we changed like my trigger, I switched from one gun to the other, and then I started shooting that one, and I was like, this hand grip is like a different chassis and like a different trigger weight and everything. I was like, this is awkward. Like, I don't like that.
Oh yeah. When you build a gun and you spend so much time behind it, I know like we sound like, I'll say like trigger snobs, but we're not. Like people that shoot enough, especially competitively, switching one thing, Jesus, it's like night and day. If it's the weight or the reset, forget about it. Like you're a newborn baby again.
Yeah, really.
So I totally get that. Question for you too. Have you ever considered shooting the extreme long range series?
I haven't considered it. I have shot, we met someone at a range before, and they were shooting like the ELR guns, and I shot one, and I was like, this is weird. This is cool, but very different. And I haven't really like considered it just because it's so different. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to just lay there and shoot all day. Like, it just kind of, it's not that appealing to me, but like, I wouldn't be opposed to like trying it.
Yeah. No, I was curious about that. So, okay, going back to where you're at in life. So you've just graduated. Where are you headed off to college?
Texas A&M.
Awesome. Yeah. So you start in the fall?
Mm-hmm. Start in the fall, sometime mid-August. I'm pretty sure I'm missing the second week for Italy, the World Championship. So that's great.
Starting off college strong. I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, I don't get to talk to a lot of people that are in that like transitional period. Either they've been junior shooters and they've kind of made this their career, or it's been part of their life, or they haven't thought that far. So for you, what does shooting and college and all of that still look like? How are you going to do it all?
I'm going to definitely try my best. I know I'll have a range 30 minutes down the street, so I'll be able to shoot those regional matches during the months, and obviously the 2-day matches, and hopefully just fit in weekends I'm free and to go shoot other matches. I really have no idea because it's totally new to me, and like what you're saying, there's really no one that I mean, there's a few college girls that I've talked to, but I don't really know because it's just going to be a learning as we go experience. Like, I hope I'll be able to shoot more, but it's probably not going to work out that way, honestly.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're dedicated, if you really want something, you're dedicated to it, you're going to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. I'm going to try my best.
I'll say that. You know, there's collegiate shooting sports too. And I don't know if Texas, it's at A&M, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have like collegiate shooting teams?
I think they have like a skeet team, and I think that might be all they have. I don't know. I think they have like a rifle team for like the Corps, like the Corps of Cadets.
Yep.
But they don't have like a PRS team, which would be awesome, but there's not enough people my age that shoot the sport. So that's the issue. Especially
when it's a little expensive.
Yeah, that as well. It's like we're paying for college and a gun and all the things, and I'm okay.
Huh? Yep. So do you know kind of like what you want to study, or are you going to college thinking about like end career in the firearms industry, or what does that look like?
That would be a really cool career. I'm not quite sure what I want to do. My major is business, and I'll figure out like what the actual like branch will be. I think like junior year, but I mean, I've looked into a little bit like the firearms industry and like business side of it, obviously. Not quite sure yet though, so gonna have to figure that one out as I go as well.
And you will. I mean, that's like a long-term goal, is just thinking about what's next. And again, I've never talked to someone kind of in your age where you don't know, like
Exactly. I have no idea.
yeah, you prepare, but you don't know. And like, that's something I wish like I kind of could see like where I'm at now. I probably would have worked a lot harder at it. I kind of fell into it, but it's interesting to think about, like, if I was a shooter, I'd be like, okay, what brands can I go work for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought about that as well. Like, I have a few sponsors that I'm like, they'd probably let me like help out or kind of learn like an internship kind of thing. And I'm like, we'll just have to see when we get there. Once I get my degree, we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Well, Payton, I know the other thing I want to talk about, which is just a small tidbit of it, is just you being a woman, you're 18, like thinking about, being around guns and all of that. How important is it for you maybe to share it, like your passions with other women, especially going to college, of like how to protect yourself or just be more self-aware, since you can't carry a gun, or I don't know the rules and laws in Texas.
I don't think I can. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
You can have one in your car at 18, but just, being more self-aware of like what's happening, what's going on, that there are no safe places. Like, are you aware of kind of all of that every day?
Yeah, I mean, I've been taught a lot by my dad. He's very much be aware of your surroundings and make sure that you know what's going on around you, so you are safe. But in the shooting industry, there's not much of like because I don't shoot like pistol or anything really, so it's kind of difficult to set myself into that position. And a lot of it is just like very family oriented, like everyone around. So it's like I feel safe in a lot of these places that I'm at with all these grown men, surprisingly, with guns,
Yeah.
So it's like I feel better that I can handle a rifle. Say that someone broke into my house, I can handle a rifle. I might not be able to pull out a pistol on them, but I can go get my gun. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But I've been brought up to be very aware of your surroundings, and I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and like I love hunting. I think it's great that like you can hunt and then you also shoot competitively, where like people forget that firearms can be fun. Like they are still a tool, they're very dangerous, but they're really fun and they can be shoot for fun. Like we as Americans can actually enjoy our rights. Like it's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And like that stuff, I hope that you kind of share on or teach other women to not be so afraid to just try something. Because especially I will say this is like, the bigger the gun, the bigger the recoil sometimes will be, like not always, but just, I know a lot of women will see the muzzle break or like hear how loud those guns are and they'll be afraid of it.
Yeah.
But you put them behind them and they don't feel or.
Yeah. They're like, oh wait, that's not so scary. And that's the thing that you have to kind of get past and be like, oh, like this could actually be fun. And I can do it with my family, my husband, and like all that. I've seen a lot of husbands bring their wives and they'd be like, this is so fun. Like, I want to keep learning and get better at this. And they're like, the husbands are either really supportive or they're like, oh gosh, now I have another one to
pay for two,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what did I do?
Exactly. No, I love it. Cool. Well, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you did want to mention while we have the time?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm looking at my notes. I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Well, while you mull it over, what does the future look like for you? What's up next for Payton, whether it's major matches? You say you've got Italy, of course, and college coming up, but is there anything long-term in the future that you do have in the back of your head?
Long-term in the future? I mean, obviously you said Italy, and I have K&M and Silent Night that we're all going to. So, and then next year I'm hopefully preparing to go to South Africa. Actually in July, I'm going to South Africa like this year for a safari hunt for my graduation.
What?
Yeah.
I wish I had thought to ask my dad for that for graduation.
Right? They were like, you want to go like to the beach or whatever? You want to go to Africa? I'm like, what do you think? Like, come on.
Coolest 18-year-old ever.
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Trying to think what else. So, are you shooting gap grind?
I'm not. Don't think so. When is that?
Wow, you asked me that question. October, maybe?
Yeah.
December?
Maybe. It depends because, I mean, obviously I'll have college, so I'll kind of have to bounce between that. And then we don't know about hunts, what he'll draw or what we'll draw and everything.
Yeah.
So
That's
got to
true.
see about that as well. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I know you mentioned your build earlier, but while we have you, do you want to give a shout out to the sponsors that take care of you?
Sure. So, can I just like list them, or do you want me to like
whatever you want to? This is for you, and whatever.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna shout out my sponsors. So I got Collis, Weebad, Impact, Flatline, Redbeard Gunworks, S&S Precision, KRG, Alpha, Vix Nandy, Spur, Modern Day Sniper / Rifleman, and Bullet Central. So
awesome. That's a great
list. I kind of touched on those earlier with my build. There's only a few that like don't like transfer. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. Well, they're great people. I was super appreciative too. Like with WeBat, I got to go tour the facility while I was there. I ended up with that bag. He just gave it to me and just said, keep it. But I was like, didn't mean to take it, but he's like, no, it's yours, which I was very, very excited for. And I don't know if you saw my post or not, but there was a 13-year-old girl afraid of rifles, just terrified. And I set up my tripod, put that WeBat bag on top of it and set up to her height specifically. And that first shot, we captured the photo, just her jaw drops, and she was like, oh, and she shot like 5 rounds, and she's like, I want another mag. And we gave her another mag, and she like didn't want to get off the rifle.
Stop. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I wish I started that early.
Me too. I was like, dude, that was 2 sisters and their mom came, and it was just such a cool thing to see that. But like having that bag was really, really helpful to be able to set them up like that. So
yeah, for sure.
I gotta say thank you to them too. And then they gave me so many tips in Texas. So we'll see how K&M goes, but it'll be half as bad as the train wreck this next time.
Right? No, you'll have that experience under your belt.
Looking forward to it. Well, Payton, for people that want to follow you or find out more, do you have a Facebook or Instagram that they can follow?
Yeah, my Instagram is pdoodle10_long range. Kind of a mouthful there. And then my Facebook is just Payton Grimes. I need to figure out how to actually make like a public page. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, so I might figure that out and start one of those, but as of right now it's just Payton Grimes on Facebook. So
love it.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, and I'm excited to shoot with you this year and see you at a couple more matches.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good time.
Good luck with all your matches. Good luck with World Shoot and everything like that, and congratulations already on all your success. So
thank you.
So proud of what you've accomplished, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, listeners. Stay tuned next week for another episode of the Reticle Up podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.